There he is!
Put your back into it, boatman.
Gladys, any more for Bismarck?
No, Bismarck.
Come on, he's a good 2-year-old.
He's got no
All right,
chance.
he's never run this company.
Never.
3 to 1 the price, huh?
No.
Make yourself a fortune.
Never.
Provided he's not beaten by old Frank Joseph on the
That's
right.
Come on, get him on!
Here we go. Hold up, Mr. Forbes is all right, eh? Got his money on both of them.
Yeah, drunk an old fool. Come on! Go on, Frank! Go on, Frank! Come on! Come on, I told you we had money on him! Find him, don't turn on his foot! Don't turn on his tail, I told you back him tonight! Where's your name, back him? He's winning the race! Come on, Frank! Come on, he's not get off his tail! Come on! Oh, you're gonna win this one, I'm gonna win this race! Frank, come on, my son! Come on, there, you little devil! Come on, get in there! Oh, come on, get in there! Get out of there! Wait, his tail! Wait, his little tail! Go on, get in there! Get on there! Hey, Frank has won! I told you he would! Where's my money?
Hopper Forbes! No wonder there's perfect discipline aboard. Mr. Forbes, I want this scum in line now.
Hey, you lads, I told you before, pipe down!
Tom Morley. Tom, you're promoted. I want this lot in line fast.
Right, right, you lads, you heard Captain Baines? Come on!
Come on, in line, you, all of you. Come on, round you go, in line. And you out of it. Come on. Come on, off you go, don't come back. Off you go. And you, come on, out you go. John Belfer, still trying to prove herself. Come on, in line, and you as well. No, leave me go. Tom Morley, I want these two in the boat, and Forbes as well, and you get his gear.
Come on.
I thought I told you to stand in line.
I heard.
Your name?
Morley.
One of yours, Tom?
Youngest and daftest.
Yeah, the strongest man aboard this ship.
The second strongest. Now stand in line. Tom, I want a personal introduction to all these beauties, and then we'll get underway.
Captain, there's something you ought to know.
Later.
No, but there's another woman aboard.
What?
Mrs. Bagsmall, it's Tom Morley. There's a Captain Baines here to see you.
Baines?
Morning, Mom.
Somebody say Baines?
Well, I'll be. Robert Bragg, what are you doing aboard?
It's my ship, Mr. Baines.
Yours, Cormorant's your ship, don't tell me that.
Oh, I sold out 2 years back.
Is that the truth he's telling me, ma'am?
Well, so I believe.
It's the truth, Captain.
So you needn't send you out, did he?
Bring back the Amaryllis, the cable said, but no mention of you, and if I'd have known,
Perhaps he didn't want to tell you. He was just returning a favor, Mr. O'Meadin.
A favor? What does he owe you?
It was a long time ago, Mr. Baines, a long, long time ago. I don't want to die out here. I don't want to die at home. Mr. O'Meadin's promised to get me back.
He's taking me off my ship to act as nursemaid to you. Well, I'm damned if I'll do it, and you can rot in this hellhole for all I care.
Captain Baines, please. Please listen to me.
I'm sorry I had to speak out like that in front of you, ma'am. But your husband and I are old enemies, and that's the truth of it. If he really is dying.
He is.
He'll have my sympathy. But there's no way I'll be a master on one of his ships, and there's plenty more he's crossed who feel the same way as I do.
Captain Baines, I'm a helpless woman. How will I get home? He sent for me. I sold everything I had to pay my passage to New Orleans, only to find he'd sailed. A trading vessel brought me here for the few trinkets I had left and my wedding ring. He wrote to me and said he was dying and that he needed me. I do understand how you feel, and I'm sorry to have to appeal to you for help, but there's no one else.
All right. Well, I'll get you back, Mom. And him. Tom, you ready to make sail?
Aye, sir.
Yeah. What do you want?
Tom tells me you've sent Poor Forbes ashore.
Aye, and for good.
Well, Poor Forbes has stood by me. He may not be much of a mate, but he's loyal. Some good chaps, Baines.
They're rabble. But I'll soon lick 'em into shape before the day's out.
You've changed your mind, have you? You're going to take me back to England after all?
I'm taking the ship back and your good lady. You, I'm treated as unwanted baggage.
Perhaps I'll die in Liverpool yet. Come on, Baines, forget about the past. Have yourself a drink.
I've got work to do.
Give it to me.
She thinks she's hidden them all, Baines. But she hasn't found this one yet.
Oh, Robert, you shouldn't.
Got something to celebrate now, haven't I? You turned your female charms upon him, haven't you? I'm going to have to keep my weather eye open for you two, won't I?
Good news, is it?
Oh, aye. It's from Mr. Blake in New Orleans. He says, Baines bellowed like an angry bull when he got me cable, but he ended up by going anyway. Didn't like handing over the Trident one little bit.
Oh, I'm sure he didn't. Not like you, James, lending Captain Baines to another owner. What do you get out of it?
Well, not quite sure yet.
From what you tell me, this Bragg sounds like a dreadful man.
He wasn't always like that.
What happened to change him?
Sorrow, guilt, drink, in that order.
Well, go on.
Well, not really very much to tell. He put his father's ship on the rocks. Lost all hands, including his father and his two brothers. Well, most people blamed him. So, he took to drink.
He's been trying to drown the memory for 20 years, poor man.
Well, I'd best get myself off to the exchange. I see you, lady. Come, you're putting on weight, young lady. Well done.
Yes,
well
I
done.
am,
Don't
Father.
keep your father, Charlotte. It's late already. Goodbye, James.
If you won't tell him, Letty, then I will.
It wasn't the right moment.
It never is. He's been home from Africa for a month now, and you said you'd tell him.
And I will. But when he's in the right mood.
I'm beginning to show already. Soon everyone will know.
Nonsense. They'll just think you're putting on weight, like your father does. Still, you're quite right. The sooner he's told, the better. I wonder when William gets back from London.
Well, he's due back today, I think. Why?
Men do change their minds sometimes. I know your father doesn't like William very much, but, well, I don't know if he did make an honest woman of
You mean Father wouldn't feel so badly about it?
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but... Well, he can hardly object to the pair of you getting married now, can he?
Letty, do you think it's possible that he could have changed his mind?
You shall go and see him this morning. We'll take the carriage.
We?
Don't worry, I won't come in.
Oh, no, Letty, I'd rather you
Look,
did-
somebody must go with you. Oh, very well, then. Mrs. Gibson.
An acre of land. The shipyard.
Well, you received a fair price for the shipyard, and in one way or another, I made a good deal of money. I also retained 5 acres for myself.
So I heard.
Yes, I'm sure you did. Soon that land will be of great value if plans that I have in mind bear fruit. It's simply my way of letting you share in my prosperity.
Well, there's really no need, you say.
Never look a gift horse in the mouth. It's made out in your name, by the way, not Fraser's.
It's a very generous gift. Thank you.
Now I'm going to let you into a secret.
Oh?
You know my thoughts on Liverpool, how this can become the major port of the country.
Yes.
Well, it seems that there are other like-minded men in this town. Men of vision who are looking for a spokesman. I've been asked to stand for the city council.
Really? Well, that's splendid news, Josiah.
Then you'll support me?
Of course I will. Oh. Charlotte.
I'm sorry, William. Am I interrupting you?
Well,
I was just going anyway, Miss O'Needin. You will treat what I tell you in confidence.
of course.
Good. I'll possibly see you later at the club. We'll talk there.
Yes.
You're looking quite blooming, Miss O'Needin, if I might say so.
Thank you. William, does he know?
Why do you ask?
Well, why did he use the word blooming?
He was simply paying you a compliment, that's all.
Oh, perhaps. How was London?
Fine. What did your father say, Charlotte?
You mean about...
Yes.
I haven't told him yet.
What? But I've been in London for nearly a month. I thought by now you must...
Well, Letty wanted to wait for the right moment, and I hoped... Well, I thought you'd change your mind. I'd make you a good wife, William. I know I would.
I'm sure you would, but I'd be a bad husband. And an even worse father. I've told you, Charlotte, I'm not ready for marriage. Not yet.
And I'm not ready to be a mother, William, but it's something I have to face up to.
Keep your voice down, please. Look, let's talk about this sensibly, calmly.
The only sensible solution is for you to marry me.
We've discussed all this before. I've agreed to provide for you and the child. I'll draw up a legal settlement if that's what you want.
I want you, William.
Oh, Charlotte, please stop crying. Someone might come in. Look, Charlotte, please. Look, supposing I bought you a house in the country, you could live there in comfort.
2 o'clock. Right, clear the table, Letty.
She'll be in soon, James.
If she can't learn to be here on time for her meals, then she can learn to do without them. Nice to have seen you, Samuel.
Oh, but I haven't told you about Alderman Swales yet.
Swales? Oh, owns the coach builders.
Ah, he used to. Beaumont's bought him out.
Has he be it? Oh, good bit of land that was, just by the river. Headed in mind for you, Letty.
Me?
Aye, sell off some of the land and with the profit build a factory for your women.
Oh, well, you never said.
Well, there wasn't much point until I got it, was there? Still, too late now.
That's not what I came to tell you, Uncle. Mr. Swales says that Beaumont is standing for the council.
Is he now? Really getting his feet under the table, eh?
It seems several of the councillors think he ought to be opposed.
Well, you're not expecting your Uncle James to stand against him, are you?
Good Lord, no.
Well, thank heavens for that.
No, we'd like you to sponsor Uncle Daniel. He's an ideal candidate. You see, his yard is across the river, and therefore he has no financial interest in the ward.
Now, hold on. You said we. Now, just who is we?
I've joined the Chamber of Commerce.
You, Samuel, with all those old fogies.
Yes, we're not all old, Aunt Letty. Anyway, the main thing is we have the interest of the town at heart. So will you speak to him, Uncle?
Well, I don't know that your Uncle Daniel's an ideal candidate. Oh, I'll have to think about it.
You must be better than Beaumont, surely.
Anyway, Mother's inviting you for lunch on Sunday. Uncle Daniel and Aunt Elizabeth will be there, so...
Shan't need to bring the horseradish then, shall we? Talk to you then. See you at 7.
Don't be late.
I'd best be off myself.
Becoming quite a politician yourself, Samuel.
Me?
Aye. You know how to handle people, how to get your own way.
And some things.
Oh, man, we've had tears all the way home. I thought it was better to wait. Oh, heavens, I thought he'd gone with the
Thank you,
bus.
Mrs. Gibson, there. Come on, love, come and sit down.
Oh, perhaps I'd better go.
You won't marry me.
Yes, Samuel, perhaps you'd better.
Samuel knows.
Samuel knows what?
Charlotte told me that William had proposed.
Leave it with William. He still said...
Do you mean he's gone back on his word?
Well, it's not that
Come on, Letty, I'll not see Charlotte treated like this. If William gave his word, then he must stand by it.
But he won't.
Now, you leave this with me, Charlotte. I'll not have you hurt in this way.
Oh, dear. Only you'd chosen differently. There, love, come on. Dry your tears.
Catherine! Catherine!
Turn up the lamp.
She's up on deck.
Turn up the lamp, damn you, I can't see you.
Is that better?
This damned eyes, it comes and it goes. She's up on deck, you say? There's a rough lot up there, Baines.
Tom Morley's one pace behind her.
Good. It's a bit late in the day for me to be making up to her. Haven't been on once in 20 years, not once.
You suddenly got a conscience, have you?
I think I drowned out years ago.
Hey. Reckon you did too.
Baines!
What is it now?
Look, this ship's all I've got left. A few hundred sovereigns in the chest. It all has to go to Catherine. It's all right, I've made a will, it's all legal.
Well, don't tell me, tell her.
Baines, make sure that nothing happens to her.
Now listen, mister. I was told to bring this ship home. Now maybe O'Need owes you a favor, but me, I owe you nothing.
All right, Baines. What does it matter? It's nearly all over now anyway. She'll have to fend for herself. When she's done that for long enough. You should marry her, you know, Baines. You'd be rich, you too.
It's the drink talking, that's all. Pay no heed to him, Captain. Most of the time he doesn't know what he's saying.
He's sane enough when he wants to be, Mom.
Baines, bring me a bottle of booze.
No, you've had your last drink on this ship.
You call yourself a Christian? Get down!
How long before we reach Liverpool?
12 or 14 days if the wind holds.
I doubt then he'll live long enough to see Liverpool.
I'll be lucky to see the weekend. Now, why did you come out here, Mom? I mean, for what he tells me, he hasn't been home in 20 years.
True. He chose to put me aside, to live apart. That doesn't alter the fact that we're still man and wife.
All the same.
We took vows. Well, I can't pretend I still love him. He died long ago. His fault, mine. Who can say? At least I can keep one vow, obedience.
You're a remarkable woman, Mrs. Bragg. Too good for him, that's for sure.
He was a different man when we first married.
Well, I think you ought to know that everything he has, he's left to you.
I know. I read the will. It was in the chest. I think I'll go and rest for a while.
My old man wants to know whether he should take some canvas off.
I'm going out.
Is that my bottle?
Ah. Want your medicine, Captain, do you?
Give it here, lad.
Haha, nah. This is special stuff, is this? Baines' own stock. Comes expensive, does a bottle like this.
Give me that bottle, damn you.
And if I don't, you ain't gonna lay a hand on no one. Not ever.
I need a drink, lad.
Yeah, of course you does. And you can have it. Only it'll cost ya.
How much?
5 sovereigns.
Give it here.
Ah, says the pieman to Simple Simon. Where's your money?
dead yet.
Yeah, but you soon will be.
Ah. Now, Elizabeth, as soon as Letty's had her tea, you see that she puts her feet up, eh?
I will. James is being very considerate.
Yes. No. No, thanks.
Letty, something's wrong.
What? Oh, no. I'm just a bit tired, that's all.
Are you sure that's all it is?
Yes, of course. Why?
Well, I somehow had the feeling you'd rather I hadn't have called.
Oh, what nonsense. Just a bit preoccupied. How's William?
He's very well. Why?
Daniel?
He's very well, too. I think.
Oh, no. You're not still at daggers drawn. Look, Elizabeth, it's none of my business, but, well, I always find with James that if I give way over most things, when it comes to something really important, well, I usually end up getting what I want.
Yes, well, this is important. He just won't see reason over the ship canal project.
Yes, well, I think very soon he'll have to decide where his loyalties really do lie. Look, don't mention this to anyone, but James has been asked to sponsor Daniel in the local elections against Beaumont.
What?
I think he intends to ask him at Sarah's on Sunday.
Well, I wonder if Daniel will accept.
Oh, James feels sure that he will. Yes, but don't you see? I mean, he can hardly represent a ward of Liverpool and still remain a director of the canal to Manchester, now can he?
No, of course not. But it's wonderful news. And it'll certainly put Beaumont in his place.
Well, always supposing that Daniel wins.
Well, of course Daniel will win. Do you know, Letty, I'm quite looking forward to Sunday.
I'll warrant that's the first Sunday service to be held aboard this ship in many a long year.
You could be right.
Do you hold service every Sunday?
No, only if I have passengers aboard or if the crew asks for it, which is not very often.
When I was a girl and my father was moored at Greenwich, I can remember the mission boat coming alongside on a Sunday. All the men clambering aboard as bright and shiny as the brasswork. The morning sun shining on the water. The sound of the church bells ashore coming across the water.
You come from seafaring stock, then?
Well, my father owned a spritsail barge. Chalk, it was called. I often sailed with him as a girl. Ipswich, the Medway towns. Then up to Greenwich or Deptford. We had a house there.
Is your father still alive?
No, he died when I was a girl. He was a big man, but very quiet and gentle. The only boast I ever heard him make was that he never carried coal. He loved that old barge of his.
A man can get very attached to a ship, particularly if it's his own. Tell me, did you never get back home?
Well, I often wanted to, especially when Robert stopped sending me money. But I had to support myself, and at least in Liverpool I had work and somewhere to live.
What did you do?
Scrubbed floors, took in washing. Then I saved up and bought a sewing machine. After that, I was able to become a dressmaker.
Did he... you must forgive me asking you this, Mum, but did he ever write you any letters?
Oh, to begin with, how he had plans for me to join him. Then the letters got fewer. The last 10 years, I've had maybe half a dozen.
And despite his treating you like that, you still remain married to him? I don't understand women. I doubt if I ever will.
I've had my regrets. Mainly in not having children, I suppose. Life has a habit of providing compensations. Soon I shall be a rich widow. Do you think badly of me for speaking like that?
No, that's the plain truth, Mom.
Couldn't you call me Catherine? Sounds much friendlier than Mom.
If you like.
What's your Christian name?
Will.
May I call you that? Well, only in private, of course.
Well, thank you very much. It would sound very nice coming from you, Catherine.
Father! Father, bring down fast! Sir! Sir, just where are you? Got them below. I can't get to them. We're going down fast.
Come on now, it's only a dream. It's only a dream. Now,
Still
come
the
on.
same dream.
Come on there. Stand like that.
Oh, leave me alone.
Stay now, stay.
Everything all right, Captain? Heard a lot of noise.
Did you give him these, Tom?
Well, of course not. I mean, you give orders to everyone.
Yeah, well, they're my bottles, and somebody on this ship's given to him. Now I'm gonna find out who.
Captain Baines,
Yes, ma'am.
my husband is dead.
You never did make it to Liverpool.
Really, Samuel, I can't see that it's any of your concern.
Charlotte is my cousin, therefore she's very much my concern.
The fact that you're rather sweet on her yourself...
Has nothing whatever to do with it.
I think it has.
Now, you listen to me, William. You gave your word that you'd marry her, and I'm damn well gonna make sure that you do.
Don't be so ridiculous.
Oh, I'll show you how ridiculous I am. Get your coat off.
Now you're being childish.
It seems there's only one way to get sense into your head, and that's to knock it in. Now, get your coat off.
Right. I will.
What the devil do you mean you won't resign?
Well, precisely what I say.
But you must resign. No, thank you, Sarah. You can't possibly sit on the Liverpool Council and still be a director of the Manchester Ship Canal.
I don't see why not.
Elizabeth, he hasn't even been elected
Oh, you
yet.
keep out of this.
Keep out of it. I'm sponsoring him.
Now, I see no reason why I cannot serve both the company and Liverpool. There need be no conflict.
No conflict. Daniel, do you take us all for idiots? We are talking about Manchester and Liverpool.
Both of which will soon be joined by a canal. Their future is linked. There can be prosperity for both.
The only prosperity you're concerned with is that of Daniel Fogarty.
Elizabeth, try looking beyond the end of your nose for
Don't
once.
you dare talk to me.
Well, I'll talk to you any damn way I like. Look, can't you see that every ship owner in Liverpool will prosper? Now, for a start, they won't have to pay the high freight rates that the railways charge.
Yeah, you know, he has got a point there, Elizabeth.
Oh, shut up, James. If you hadn't gone meddling in politics in the first
Elizabeth,
place...
you can't blame it all on James. After all, it was Samuel's idea.
Oh!
I'm all right, Mother. I'm afraid I didn't help matters, Charlotte.
Oh, you great brute! I hate you! Where's William?
Oh, he's gone home.
Well, what have you two been fighting about?
Beat him, did you?
Samuel, I think you better tell us what this is all about.
It was a private quarrel, Aunt Elizabeth.
James, she's taken the carriage.
Huh? Oh, no. Damn little minx.
I think you ought to go after her, James. She's been in a strange mood all day.
She's been in a strange mood all her life.
Take our carriage.
Come on, Letty.
Don't hurry me, James.
All right, get in.
Mr. O'Neill's house, then come straight back.
Oh, there, love, you have a good weep.
Straight to look with her.
Mr. Anita, would you mind telling me what's going on?
Do you mind minding your own business? Now then, young... Have you no work to go to? Now then, young lady, you've got some explaining to do. What do you mean by flying off like that?
Please, James, keep your voice down. Do you want all the neighbours to hear?
I'll shout in my own household if I want to. Now then, what was all that palaver about, eh? Well, come on out with it. Lost your tongue, have you?
James! James, you've got to be told sooner or later.
What?
Charlotte is with child.
Well, it's not true. Well, can't be.
James, I'm afraid it is.
Oh, you trollop, you!
Dare strike her!
Out of my way, woman.
If you hit her, I'll leave this house.
You mean she should go unpunished?
This girl has been punishing herself for months.
What do you think the world will do to her once the babe is born?
Oh, she'll be married long before then.
No, James, she won't. William has refused.
Oh, no, not of all people. What do you mean, refuse?
He won't marry me, Father!
He damned well will! Charlotte. You come with me. You too, Letty.
And to think I was actually looking forward to today.
There really is no need for us to quarrel.
I quite agree, Daniel, but the solution is in your hands.
Elizabeth, you cannot have everything your own way. There must be a degree of give and take between us. Now, if you wish, I'll refuse this nomination.
Well, that's not the bone of contention, and you know that. James, what's the matter?
I'll tell you what's the matter. That son of yours has put my daughter in the family way.
William?
How many sons have you got? Of course I mean William.
James, are you sure?
You don't imagine that my daughter would dream up a story like that?
Well, she's been chasing the poor boy long enough. It's probably the only way she could think of getting William to...
Elizabeth, that is beside the point. If William is responsible...
William will marry her. Let's have no arguments about it.
Well, of course he must do the honourable thing, Bar. We're all agreed on that.
Except William. What do you mean?
He's refused to marry her.
Well, there you are, then. If the child were his, he'd obviously face up to his responsibilities.
Are you saying that my... Oh, you're a fine one to talk. We all know how William came about.
James, there's no need to rake up the past.
Oh, isn't there? This is history repeating itself. Only last time it was Elizabeth, this time it's my daughter.
Oh, I see, now it's my fault. James, if you had given that child some love in the first
Elizabeth,
place...
this doesn't help matters.
I quite agree, Letty. Now, the first thing we must do is talk to William.
Yes. Right, let's find him.
Father, you're not to hurt him.
If he doesn't marry you, I'll break every bone in his body.
Father? Uncle James?
Right. You know why we're here. We'll not beat about the
James,
bush.
if you don't mind, William is my son.
So, you haven't yet decided who's had first crack at the horsewhip?
You take that tone with me, my boy, you'll end up in little pieces. Now then, your cousin Charlotte is with child. Are you the father of that child?
That is what Charlotte
Wait,
says.
damn it, William, can you never give me a straight answer to any question I ask?
Are you implying that
I'm
Charlotte
implying
will be...
nothing, Uncle.
Right then. Answer your father's question.
As far as I know, yes, I'm the father of that child.
Right. 3 weeks, then.
3 weeks?
That's how long it takes to call the banns. Private. Just family.
Whatever else we might feel towards you, we intend that you do the honourable thing and marry that girl.
You mean rather than repeat your example, Father, and wait 18 years as you did with my mother?
Heck, Daniel. If you hadn't have done that, I would have.
Come on, James, there's no more to say.
You're wrong, Father. There is more to say. Uncle James, I'm deeply sorry for what has happened. And I promise that Charlotte and the child, they shall want for nothing.
Go on.
If I allowed you both to force me into a marriage with Charlotte, it would soon end in unhappiness. We are neither of us suited to one another. Rather than see two lives...
Suited? What kind of talk is that? You're marrying. That's the end of it.
No, sir.
What?
You can beat me into pulp if you wish, Uncle James. I can't stop you. It'll no doubt give you both some satisfaction. But I'll not change my mind.
Oh, Letty, he must be made to change his mind.
Once he's decided on something, it's like trying to move a mountain.
Yes, but we're both agreed that a marriage between William and Charlotte could only lead to disaster.
Yes.
Well, then somehow we have to convince James.
And Charlotte. Oh, I do feel so for the poor child.
Well, so do I, Letty, but she has only herself to blame.
Oh, Elizabeth, William must share in that blame.
I'm not trying to excuse William. That boy has been a great trial to me, but you must admit she's been setting her cap at him for years.
Well, not without some encouragement, surely.
Oh. Both there, are you?
James, we must talk.
What about?
You know full well about this marriage.
There's not going to be a marriage.
What?
You know, the thought of William as my son-in-law just about turns my stomach.
James, what's happened?
I've come to my senses, that's what's happened. William's a weak-kneed, spineless, good-for-nothing. And I wouldn't have him marry Charlotte if he was the last man on earth.
Are you trying to tell me, James, that my son isn't good enough to marry that flibberty-gibbet of a daughter
Yeah,
of
now
yours?
you watch what you say about Charlotte.
It's high time you learned some home truths.
Stop it,
both of you. I will not have this
You wanna-
squabbling going on in my house. Now will you both sit down and take a deep breath? Right. Now, when you've both calmed down, perhaps we can discuss what is best for Charlotte.
Of our dear brother. And so we commit the body of Robert Bragg to the deep. Amen. I hope that weren't too distressing for you, Catherine.
Not at all, Will. He spoke the words with great dignity.
Right. Now that's all over with, how about a bit of pitch and toss, eh?
Yeah, good idea, Ralph.
A lot of money you got there, Ralph?
Yeah, that's right, Dad. You want to borrow some?
Yeah, you're sure you're all right?
Yes. To be perfectly honest, it was as though I was attending the funeral of a complete stranger. I could say that to you because I know you'll understand.
Indeed I do. Well, now we've looked to the dead, we must look after the living. Now, have you thought about the future?
Yes, and I hope I can turn to you for guidance, Will.
Well, I'd be offended if you didn't, Catherine.
Well, first of all, this ship. Have you any idea how much she's worth?
Well, with a ship, Catherine, it's dependent upon what people will pay. Now, I've tidied her up a bit. If she were buffed up some more, well, she might fetch anything between £3,000 or £4,000.
As much as that?
Yeah, she's been let go, but underneath, she's still a sound ship.
I could purchase a pension for that money. I could have a secure income of perhaps £200 a year for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. But, on the other hand, if you kept her, I think she could provide you with an income of maybe £500 or maybe £600 a year.
Well, how could I keep her?
Well, you'd have to get yourself a good master, of course.
Oh, who could rob me without me knowing it?
Still some honest men around, Catherine. Of course, it might help if you gave him a few shares in the ship. I mean, then he'd be working for himself.
Would you know of such a man, Will?
I might.
Does your father know you're here?
No.
If he did, no doubt he would be very angry.
Yes, I suppose he would.
But then, without wishing to sound discourteous, do you not think it would be wise to leave?
I no longer know what to think. Only that I must marry William.
And you thought that I might persuade him to...
Yes. Well, you are his closest friend. He listens to what you say.
On matters pertaining to banking and commerce, yes. But were I to advise him over the matter of choosing a wife, I fear I would quickly lose that friendship.
Has
Yes.
has he spoken of me?
Many times.
No, what I meant
And I
was-
know that he holds you in high regard. Whether or not it is sufficiently high to encompass marriage is something only he would know. Now, you really must excuse me, Miss O'Neill.
Yes, it was foolish of me to hope that you could have...
Josiah, it's all agreed. I don't have to
So, Letty will take you to Aunt Mary's. And there she'll, explain. And then you can come home. As far as the rest of the world's concerned, you've been on a holiday.
Whatever you say, Father.
While you're away, I've persuaded your father to let me furnish the old cottage by the flour mill. I'll engage a nurse, and you can visit the baby whenever you want to.
I don't want to see it.
Oh, nonsense, Charlotte. You can't just abandon the child.
Very well. Father, I'd like to go to my room now, if I may.
Yes.
Yes, you must get as much rest as possible. I'll ask Mrs. Gibson to bring you up a tray of tea.
Strange to think my next meal will be ashore.
I'll be alongside within the hour.
I feel I've been away for years.
Time plays funny tricks when you're at sea.
Yes. Well, I've not inquired anymore because I know you wanted time to think the matter over, but have you found me a master for this ship?
You're right, Catherine. I've given a great deal of thought to the matter.
You said you had someone in mind.
Aye. So I did. But, well, this man that I know, he's a bit set in his ways, and what with him being a bachelor all his life, he don't readily understand how women folk think.
Neither do most married men, for that matter.
Aye, but what I mean is, he's used to talking man to man. You know, he'd be a bit rough and ready dealing with a lady like yourself.
People do change, you know, Will.
Oh, I know they do, but what I mean is, Catherine, with him it'd be like living in the front room and using the best china only all the time. You know, he'd always have to be on his guard. It wouldn't come natural to him.
So, you've quite made up your mind about this man?
I'm afraid I have, Catherine. But I can recommend somebody else. A man called Blake. He took over my last ship, and he's as straight as they come.
Pilot berth's alongside, Captain.
Thank you, Tom.
Perhaps it's all for the best.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
But there's no reason why we shouldn't see one another from time to time. That is, if you'd like to.
I'd like that very much, Catherine.
You're a bit like the sea itself, Will. Sometimes rough, sometimes quiet, sometimes very deep.
Mr. O'Neill, what are you doing here?
I came aboard the pilot boat. Have a good trip.
Oh, so.
You certainly made good time.
I didn't expect a welcome committee.
Eh? Oh, that'll be the day. I've come to see what I bought for my money. So, how's Bragg?
Dead. What do you mean, bought?
Eh? Oh, I didn't know you were carrying passengers.
This is Mrs. Bragg. Catherine, Mr. O'Neill.
My condolences, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. O'Neill, what exactly have you bought?
Well, the ship, man. The Amaryllis.
What?
Well, didn't your husband tell you?
Not a word.
He sent me a letter from New Orleans. He knew he was dying. So he offered to sell me the Amaryllis for a reasonable price if I brought him home as soon as possible. They're anchoring to die in Liverpool, he said.
Is this legal?
Oh, yes. It's a proper bill of sale. A lawyer in New Orleans arranged it for me.
You never thought to tell me.
What, in the cable? Huh. Well, what difference does it make?
What was this reasonable price, Mr. O'Needin?
£3,000.
3,000.
Well, for all I knew, I could have been buying an old hulk. Look, when we dock, I'll make you out a proper draft. I think I'll take a look around the ship. Come on.
Best laid plans. What a lot of speculation about nothing.
Captain Baines. Captain, you know that when we tied up, Ralph came up here to check the warps?
Aye?
Well, it was over half an hour ago, and he skipped with all the money for the back pay for the men that you gave him.
Is that a fact?
The men want to know what you're going to do about it.
Me? Nothing. You best ask the new owner.